Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on this week's episode of the Mindful Minutes. This is my second part of a two-part series on mindful parenting. So last week I just touched on my philosophy on parenting and kind of how I apply mindfulness to my parenting style and how it reflects in the way that I interact with my daughters and parent them. So this week I wanted to touch on a topic that's a little bit more difficult to talk about sometimes, and that is co-parenting. So I myself do co-parent my daughters with their father. We do not live in the same area, so we co-parent from a distance, and we share that time. And so I wanted to kind of share my thoughts because I know sometimes it's a struggle. I know sometimes it seems easy, and then there's others that, you're just not on the same page when you need to be. So I think it's important to kind of understand, the importance of mindfulness and how we co-parent our kids if they are in a broken home or two separate homes. So what led me to want to talk about co-parenting was a quote that I read a couple of weeks ago in a book. And the quote is, co-parenting. It's not a competition between two homes. It's a collaboration of parents doing what's best for their kids. And that quote is by Heather Hechler. And why it stood out to me was because she said it's not a competition between two homes, but it's a collaboration between two parents and how to parent their kids effectively, right? And that really resonated with me because I feel like there is a lot of the competition out there, especially in today's culture of wanting to be the best parent or just wanting to be the best person. And you want to, especially when it comes to our kids, we want to make sure that we're the ones who are giving them the most fulfilling experiences and the most love and everything else that could possibly invest in their growth and their upbringing and how we parent them. And sometimes thinking that when they leave our presence and go to their home with their other parent, sometimes it's easy to think, well, they love it here with me more, so I just am fulfilled in knowing that. Or I believe I give them the better experience, or I know that my love is deeper, and yeah, they're in good hands over there, but I'm better. And that really sometimes can speak volumes, and the kids pick up on it. I'm a firm believer that there has to be a mutual respect there. It's not a competition. Really, the kids come first. Their needs, their education, their everything comes first before how you feel about each other, how you feel about the other parent's style. And those things just don't matter when it comes to really being effective parents in general for your children. I also believe that there are certain foundations of parenting that you do have to be on the same page about. Things like setting boundaries, things like, teaching hygiene, academics, studying, learning, encouraging them to have healthy, experiences, relationships, get outside and explore nature. Things like that I think are important to be on the same page about because those are just foundations of growing up. And those are part of what, develop their character and help them to learn those things. And that also leads to my belief of absolutely being respectful to each other at all times, especially when in front of the kids. Because what you will find is that it's very hard to teach children how to be respectful and treat others respectfully if the two individuals in their life, their parents, who are supposed to be their biggest role models, don't even treat each other respectfully. And this even applies to parents who are living in the same home, but certainly in co-parenting, because what you don't want to do is create an environment where when they spend time with you, they sense that you don't approve of each other, or you bring them into a position where they feel like they, have to choose or judge or whatever it may be. So there has to be a mutual respect for each other. It's just really important to impress upon your kids that in order to get through the tough times, even when you may not agree, you still have respect for each other. So they will definitely pick up off of those vibes and the lessons that we teach them by how we treat each other. And then also, it's okay to be different in your parenting styles. It's okay to be different parents. You sacrificed that right to sit down with each other and say, hey, I know we're still married, but this isn't working out for me, and we've got to, come together in this way of our marriage or our parenting or whatever it may be. You give that up when you go your own separate ways. So it's okay to want to give your own experiences, your own parenting style to your kids. You should, because they are going to remember that and those experiences with you so much more. And then it's also important to remember that it's okay for the other parent to be themselves as well. So that's where it comes to that mutual respect, kind of, no judgment. Unless, of course, it's a harmful situation, it's okay for somebody to be different, and that's going to be what's most important for your child, to bond with their other parent. Allow them to have those experiences without wanting to be competitive, or without wanting to judge, or without thinking you do it better and they don't do it good enough, because at the end of the day, that still translates into something that the kids pick up on, and sometimes they witness, and sometimes they overhear, or whatever it may be. So you just want to focus on your relationship with your child or your children. And I think it's so important to give them as much as you can of yourself when they're with you. And if you, especially, if you're sharing time when they're younger, that can be really difficult, but you just want to focus on your relationship with them when they're with you. That's the most precious time that they have of those memories with you, of the bond that you create, of the experiences they're going to grow up and never forget. So make those positive ones. I know that that's something that I do whenever my kids are with me and it's our family time together. We make experiences, and they still know that there are boundaries and rules at mom's, just like there's boundaries and rules at dad's. However, we cross those hurdles when we get to them, but for the most part, we just make it an enjoyable experience. We have similar things that we like to do, and we get to do those things when we're together. So I think it's important just to keep that at the forefront, and try not to judge yourself so much either. I am very guilty of that, of just always constantly wondering, am I doing it good enough? Can I do better? Should I do this different? Should I do that different? And then at the end of the day, I just have to remember that I'm doing the best that I can, and that's really all that matters. So on the flip side of parenting, a portion of it is support for each other, but I also wanted to talk about how we can incorporate that into our communities, because I do feel like, as a parent in general, we need to support each other a little bit more, be a little stronger for each other sometimes, a little more encouraging. You see a lot of judgment, and you hear a lot of judgment of, oh, I would never teach my kids to do that, or oh, if those were my kids, they would be this way or that way, or whatever it may be. And that's fine and good to have those beliefs, but at the same time, that creates that segregation in the community. And sometimes it just feels really good to know that there are other people who understand the struggles of being a parent, and that there are other people who can just support you and provide you with that encouragement. So if it's good to feel that we have those options and those opportunities to connect with other parents in that way out there, then we also have to be that for them. So I just wanted to give a little bit of that insight and encouragement, because I just think that we can never have enough support and encouragement, especially in the parenting community. And it's so much more important as well to show our children that not only do we respect each other in our separated families and blended families, but we also support other families outside of the community and give them that same respect and encouragement as well. So it just is creating a cycle of a foundation that you're building for your kids, and it's up to you to make it a great one. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the Mindful Minutes, Mindful Parenting. Please tune in next week for my next episode. And remember, if you enjoyed today's, please click that like button. If you have not yet subscribe so that we can continue to go down this journey of life and explore how mindfulness can really change our everyday, day-to-day lives. Thanks so much, guys.